What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Episode 10 is starting right now. Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning back in today. And this episode is going to be a little bit different. So, Pops has had a commission, unfortunately, today. He's not feeling too well. I told him, gave him a call. I told him, I was like, hey, listen, take the day off. We got a substitution in for today's episode 10. I got my brother Quinn filling in for him. Say what's up, Quinn.
What up, everyone?
Yeah, that's bro right there. And today's episode is a little different, right? So with everything going on in the world, all the craziness and really just the busyness of everyday life, I wanted to take the time and actually do an episode to show appreciation for the people that we just love. And the two people that came to mind today are Pops and my mother. And this is a tribute to both of them. We're going to be talking about our childhood. We're going to be talking about, how we came up, the lessons they taught us, the appreciation we have for them as individuals. And we're going to be talking pretty much about a bunch of different topics today. So stay tuned with us, follow along. We appreciate you guys tuning back in, and let's get after it, man. So, Quinn, I remember growing up, right? And looking back on everything, we had a great childhood, man. I mean, especially with mommy, pretty much raising us alone as a single mom, no shot at daddy or pops, but he was kind of in and out for a long time. But tell me one of your favorite memories from your childhood, like growing up. I think that's a good starting point.
Damn, you put me on the spot. Trying to think of one specific one. Honestly, if you have one, go first, so that way I can think of like because there's so many different things, and when you're put on the spot, like I don't even have one that
Nah,
pops up.
dude, you're good. You're good. So here, I'll take the lead on this one. So I
Yeah.
remember, it's a simple memory. So me, you, and Daddy used to play wiffle ball. We used to go out to the park, play wiffle ball.
That's crazy that you say that because I just bought a wiffle ball bat and the ball like we saw it at ShopRite, and I bought it the other day and I've been playing it with Talia and trying to
Oh
teach her
yeah,
how to
bro.
swing and stuff. But I was just talking about that the other day to Nat, like how we used to play all the time, and like we love that. And I was just thinking about that, so it's funny that you bring that up. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, that was the best. And I remember Daddy used to pitch, throw some whack ass pitch like curveball. He'd be trying to do. I'd be like, just wait. Pitch is already thrown. I'd be waiting there. I'd be like, you
Yeah,
ready?
I know. I
Just
do
being a
remember that.
straight smart ass. But no, that was good times, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, truly feel like we had a good childhood. Things didn't start getting fucked up really until we like were adults, like 18, 19, 20, at least for me. Like, it's just a lot of shit. But um,
Yeah. Well, the problem is that you know as much as I don't want to throw shots at Pops, but she our mom had to raise us by herself. So once you get to a certain age where you know there's only so long you're scared of your mother, right? Put it that way.
yeah,
If when there's no father figure in the house, especially. So it's like once you get old enough where like, all right, even if your mom were to give you a smack or something, it's like it doesn't phase you anymore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So at that point, you're making your own decisions. You think you're an adult, you think you're grown. And I remember like myself, like I always would, oh, I can't wait till I'm 18. I'm out of here. I would stay at other people's houses for weeks, like Jackson and Joe. You know what I mean? Like so, I thought I was grown and I thought I had everything figured out, and the reality is absolutely nothing. And you get
yeah,
hit, you get punched in the face by life, and you realize like fuck, like this shit is not easy. Especially with my past and my addiction and everything. So I had to get hit a couple times really hard to learn, you know damn, like this shit's gonna be a long road. So I think that's the problem, though, is everyone needs to go down their own road, right? They need to learn things because there's only so many times you could tell somebody something, right? People are hard headed. We all are, to an extent, right? Somebody can tell you something, you're like, yeah, 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 whatever, and I was the king of that. Oh, I know. Don't tell me nothing. I already know.
Yeah, it's everybody.
So, you have to go through these situations and just learn from the experiences that you have and go through them. And that's, those things make you who you are today. So, I wouldn't, as good of a childhood as we did have, we put ourselves in the situations that we ended up in, right? So
No,
you can't
100%.
you can't blame anybody or anything. You chose to make certain decisions. That's why you ended up where you were. So,
No, for sure. And like I don't blame them for anything. It's just I more look at it like overall what the entire family's been through, whether it's
no, no,
you
no, for
or
sure.
me
Yeah.
individual or whether, it was mommy or pops going through certain battles that they were going through. Um,
Yeah. Everybody has their
Honestly,
struggles.
you know, it's just everything that the family's been through was a lot. And to see where everybody's at now today is a fucking blessing. Because, me and you were talking about earlier, like a lot of people don't even show love and express that till it's too late. You're fucking 6 feet under and be like, oh, all these regrets. And, it's too late at that point. You can't really show appreciation for the people in your life because they're already gone.
Yep.
So instead of waiting until it's too late, mom, pops, I love you guys. This is a tribute to you. I know Quinn feels the same way. And, that's just where I'm at. I wanted to show so much appreciation for them because I know without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And truly, I love who I am.
Absolutely.
My heart, my
Absolutely.
morals, my character. I mean, I could still hear mommy, my mother, her voice in my head saying decisions and consequences. And I
Of
still remember,
course.
like, that shit is ingrained in
Listen,
my
listen,
brain
let
to
me tell
this
you
day.
something. Let me tell you something. I heard that more than anybody on this fucking planet, okay? Because my past, right? Like I made a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad choices, ended up in a lot of shitty situations because of it. And every time I made one of those bad choices, that's exactly what you would say. Choices and consequences. You made a choice, you put yourself in this position. So, you got to fucking face the consequences now.
Right.
So, 100%. And what I was going to add on to that, you're right. Like people they don't show love and appreciation until it's too late, and then they always have regrets. But especially like in my industry, working in a barbershop, I meet so many different people, so many different walks of life, and it's crazy because a random stranger who you've never met before will show you more love than your own family and closest friends. Friends, you know what I mean? Because these people claim that they're your friends. They claim that they want to love you and they show love and all this, shit. But it's not true. It's not true because if a random stranger is doing more for me than my so-called friends, then that's a problem. So that shows everything right there. And I don't know
No,
why that is. I really don't know why that is, but
I mean,
we
there's a
we
couple
all
different
do it.
reasons.
We all do it to an extent.
There's a couple different reasons in my mind. And me and Pops had conversations about this too. Like, your family and friends and the people that have known you for years on end, sometimes your entire life, especially if it's family, they have a preconceived notion on who you are as a character, right? And I don't think a lot of the times, I don't think it's out of hate or they feel any type of way towards you. I think once you start to redefine yourself and make positive changes in your life, the way they perceive you becomes threatened, right? Like, hey, say the dude who was like 300 pounds his entire life, right? He starts going to the gym, he starts changing his life for the better. Now, all of a sudden, dude's ripped out of his mind. His entire, like persona is different. His entire
Yeah,
life is different because he made the decisions to actually change.
sure.
Even though he did something so positive for himself, that is going to change how people perceive you, right? And I think we do it unconsciously and subconsciously. And it is kind of weird, man. I think that's just part of the human experience. But I think a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it. And I
Well, it's
think that's the
weird
main reason
too.
why.
It's weird too because like that's a good example, right? Because a guy that was 300 pounds and everybody knows him as even if he gets
Right. The fat guy. Like that's your label. That's your label.
Exactly. But even if he were to get shredded and become, like whatever, he looks great. people are always going to remember him as the fat guy. And it's
Mm.
just like in my shoes, you know what I mean? I'm sure people that everyone I grew up with, and there's a lot of people that I've done wrong and whatever. And there's really not, there's only so much I could do to try to right those wrongs because they were so long ago. And, you know, some of these people, like, I haven't talked to in fucking over 10 years, you know what I mean? So, that's stuff that,
Yeah.
you just try to get right with God and, hope that people forgive you, whatever. But it's the same thing with addiction. A lot of people are always, and when they hear my name or think of me, they're always going to think of like, oh, drug addict, piece of shit, scumbag. You know what I mean? So these things
Mhm.
get associated with you. And even if you change and become a better person, I think that, it's the same concept. People are always going to have that perception of you. Just like they're always going to remember, oh, that was the fat guy. He was, you know what I mean? So I think that's true to an extent as well.
Yeah, like it's weird for somebody like me. I mean, I definitely agree with you, number one, but it's weird for somebody like me because I'm very kind, in my heart. Like I could be an asshole just like anybody else, especially
Sure.
if you're fucking acting weird or doing something wrong towards me or family and people I care about. But I have a kind heart, right? So my nature is to uplift people and have conversations and, meet people. I'm very outgoing and stuff like that. And, that's great. Like I love that about myself. And I get that from Pops. Something I get from mommy is just my loyalty, my fierceness, my work ethic, and it's crazy as you get older, like you can actually see some of the qualities playing out within yourself that have been passed down from your parents. And, I'm super appreciative. Now, with some stuff, inherently me, absolutely. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like you reach this point of everything's just surreal and you have an overwhelming appreciation for what they've given you, especially lessons too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, it's like you were saying before, though, like, these, when you're a child, you grow up by learning around about the people that are surrounding you. You know what I mean? You learn from them. You take things from them and you start to implement them in your life.
Mhm.
And, even with everything, like look at all the evil shit that's going on in the world, right? These people that are taking advantage of children, hurting children, doing all these horrific things to children. Why is it that they're doing them to children? Because children are the easiest to mold and manipulate and kind of like you could force your will upon these children and make them do things that somebody that's older would know, like, these things are not right, these things are horrible, but they're, it's molding a child. And these are how children work. They learn little tidbits from all the people around them and they start to implement them in their life. So I think we're both blessed for some of the genes and qualities and traits that we were given, because look around you. There's so many people that are just straight sheep. They're not paying attention to anything that's going on.
Mhm.
They're completely brainwashed or manipulated. And at least we have the awareness to like see things for what they are and not fall into that trap. But it's just, so I'm super grateful for those things. And I was just talking about it earlier with a client. Like, one of my gifts has been, I've always been able to read people extremely well. And I'm super grateful for that gift because I don't need a lot of time around you. I can talk to you for a couple seconds and get a feel for you.
Just be like, yeah, this
And
dude's
I and
shot.
I
Like,
and I'm telling you, like, over 90% of the time I'm right. There's times that I am wrong. It happens. But it's very, very rare. 90 fucking percent of the time I'm right. And again, like, I only need a couple seconds just to talk to you for, but I have a perfect read almost 100% of the time. It's crazy. But I'm blessed for that ability and being able to do that.
well, that's intuition right there. I mean, we probably get that from mommy. But I mean, on some real shit, like to be fully transparent, I wouldn't rather have anybody else as my parents. And I told mommy that before, like, and her, she's like, oh, that's so nice. But
Absolutely. No, I agree
it
with
should be nice because, that's a wonderful thing. All the sacrifices that, especially she made, man. Like I couldn't even imagine like I'm in my 30s now. I couldn't even imagine being responsible for a child, let alone two children, doing it all on yourself, working all these jobs. I mean, the
Oh,
sacrifices
and then
she made
eventually
to,
three children. So
yeah, right, exactly. And then, you know, her pretty much put me through military school by herself. Realistically, I mean, it's like she's super mom, you know?
yeah. Well, that's listen, that's it's a good and bad thing when you look at it for her. And I've told her this many times, but sometimes you can't be that super mom. Sometimes you have to take a step back and let people figure some things out for themselves. And that's kind of one of the problems is that you have to you can't have expectations for people, whether they're your children or not, or family or not, friends, whatever it is, because when you have expectations you're going to be let down. And of course every parent has expectations for their children, but again, like, you have to let people look at me, right? There was nothing you could tell me. I had to go through these situations to find out what life is really about and learn the hard way, make me the person that I am today. So, sometimes she overextends herself, and whether it's trying to help me or help you or Damien or, Jack, or her work, and she, her mom, all these things that she's doing, and it drives her to, she starts to get too stressed out. So that's another thing that it's like sometimes that's can be her downfall too, is trying to be the super mom.
Yeah, and like I've had conversations with her about that, and she just wants to do for everybody. I mean, it just goes to
Yeah,
show
of
the
course.
quality of her heart, and she wants to see everybody taken care of. And inherently, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like
That's
I
no,
forget that.
of course, a hundred
But
percent.
you have a limited amount of energy just as an individual too.
Right.
Like the more you overextend yourself, you're just opening yourself up to exhaustion, burnout, and there has to be a balance at some point. Like I'm guilty
Absolutely.
of that too. Like working crazy hours, like 12-hour shifts every day. And I get my work ethic from her, like go, go, go. Like just get after it. But I also realized that as I've gotten older too, you know, you don't have this infinite amount of energy. Like, it's okay to rest. It's okay to give yourself permission to, recover and focus on self-care and make sure you're well groomed and look good and go to the barbershop, go to the doctors, make sure you're all right. Like all that. So, there's still a lot of stuff that that our parents need to learn too. And it's pretty funny because you reach a point as a child that you start to become the parent and then show them different things. And then they start learning from you. And you're still learning from them even as an adult too. So, pops, mom, we couldn't appreciate you guys more.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What else can you remember? So you dodged that first time, the wiffle ball. What else can you remember from childhood?
I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's just growing up. I mean, just especially me and you, like, just playing the fucking Xbox, or down in the basement.
That was going to be my next one.
I remember the one time, and I don't even know if you remember this, but you weren't doing the best things at that time either. But
Oh yeah, look,
I
trust
I,
me,
I was
I'm no saint. I'm no
yeah.
saint at all.
I was still young. I don't remember. I mean, I was probably like 15, maybe around there. I don't remember exactly how old, but I remember we were down there and we were playing the Xbox. We had the music on in the background. Like, we had the playlist set up
Oh,
on
dude, I
there.
love that feature.
It
Yeah,
had like the
modern Xbox
Kanye, the
couldn't
Big
do that at
Sean
all.
album. But we were playing the Xbox, and then you literally just pulled out a fat blunt, and you're like, and you're like, you light it up, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, and you're like, bro, we're good. Don't even worry about it. And she's fucking
Like,
right
stop asking
upstairs.
questions.
She's right upstairs in her bedroom, and you're just like, yeah, we're good. Don't even worry about it. And we're just, and you're sitting there, you smoking this friggin' blunt. And I remember she came down and she started flipping out on you, flipping out on both of us. I just remember, like, oh my God, that was so chaotic.
I was crazy, man. I mean, especially back then. And, looking back on it, I feel so bad because
No,
she's out
bro,
here making all
trust
these
me.
sacrifices and, making sure there's food on the table and stuff like that. And just stupid shit. Like, there's still a small part of me that's like, why'd you have to be such a dickhead? You know? And
I mean, dude, trust me. You think that's bad? Like I've done horrible shit. You know, horrible, horrible things. Like, I mean, taking her last $20 out of her fucking car sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, just stealing, fucking. Just
yeah,
putting people through absolute misery. And, like that just shows like she never gave up on me. She still always was there, like whether I was in jail or in a rehab or whatever situation I went through. You know what I mean? So, and most people they would have been like, fuck this. You're stealing all my money, you're stealing all my fucking valuables, you're
no,
stealing my time, my sleep, my energy, like fuck this. They would have cut that shit off so quick. So, for her, she's always been there, and she's always going to be there for any of us, and that's again, like that's probably the best quality you can have as a person.
no, I couldn't agree more. Mom, we love you. And this episode is, again, I can't say this enough, a tribute towards you. And we want to show appreciation for everything that you sacrificed, everything that you've just done in silence, or, even things we don't know about that you just had to do to put food on the table, keep a roof over our head. So we love you, seriously. And then Pops, as crazy as he is, I get a lot of my traits from him as well. Gifted gab, we know Pops can talk for days. And that's not a shot at him. That's a good thing. I mean, that's why I was in sales for so long, for years on end. And, I think one thing that he taught me is to, kind of like what you were saying, like be able to read people. But one thing he told me, which I appreciated even as a kid, is to not pass judgment on people, right? Like, despite the color of their skin, despite their appearance, like evaluate people on their character and how they come across and how they present themselves and the quality of their heart. And I think he instilled that in from an early age. And I didn't even realize it at first. But even as a man now, I can see that great quality in myself. And I'm very cautious and I have a lot of discernment in who I allow into my life too. So, Pops, I appreciate you, man. Seriously, I wouldn't be here without you. As crazy as your ass is, but we love you, man. Seriously.
Yeah, he's had some some interesting situations as well. We both did. I mean,
Yeah.
I yeah, I'm not even gonna get into our
Yeah,
situations because
that's a whole other
those are a
episode in
little too
itself.
crazy, but yeah, I mean, of course, like, listen, one thing about him too is like, as much as, him and our mom didn't get along when, we were young, like, he never talked bad about her. He never, he always like tried to at least instill the right principles and values within us. And, again, like he definitely didn't make all the right decisions, but, you try your best, you know what I mean? Like, listen, and this goes into like what we were talking about before. Like, as a child, you get molded into this person from the people that are around you. Like, look at him. He didn't have the best upbringing, right? So you only know what you know. You know what I mean? Like, so you can only teach the shit you know. There's a lot of shit that he didn't know at that time,
Right.
and he had his own struggles and shit. So, for everything that he went through and was going through at the time of our childhood, like he did the best that he could at that
Yeah,
time. So
100%. And it really comes back to trauma too. Like even the stuff me and Pops talk about, like with the addiction, like it's all connected on some level, whether we realize or not. Like the trauma is a big thing, man. If you don't take the steps to overcome that, or at least seek out therapy, do some shadow work on yourself, like really sit down, you not only are you going to fall behind, I mean, you're just indefinitely going to be in a shitty place for the rest of your life. And it's crazy because, this shit isn't talked about. Like therapy, like when we were kids, therapy, there was like so much stigma around that. People were like, "Oh, you go to therapy? Like you must be a fucking spaz, or there's something wrong with you." Now, 2026 is way more open and people are accepting of that. But I never understood that. If you're going to take the time to get better and realize, hey, you know what? I need some assistance in this specific area. Like I'm trying to, get through something that I'm going through. Why wouldn't you reach out for help? That's a sign of strength and awareness to be able to be like, you know what? I need some assistance in this area.
Yeah,
Straight up.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to talk about your like you got to be able to get your shit off somewhere, and wherever that may be, that's for you to figure out. But you got to get your shit off. You can't just, go through life, especially with how crazy shit is. Like there's so much craziness going on. It's every day. Our phones are flooded with craziness. You can't even go on social media today without seeing like a bomb being dropped or some crazy fucking conspiracy theory or someone getting fucking assaulted or killed or every day you see some crazy shit like this. And this
Right. And
has
it's
become
that.
so normalized that, like it's just pure negativity. So go ahead though. What were you gonna say?
No, I mean it's a mix of everything. You got all that negative stuff, then you got the streamers, then you got people, celebrities saying this, political drama. I mean, it's so everywhere and in between that you just become numb to it. You're like, oh, another post. Oh, okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, another bomb in Gaza. Oh, they went to war. And you become like a robot.
Yep. Yeah. I
That's why
mean,
it's important to have conversations like this. And for the
yeah.
people that are watching right now, go call your mom and dad and tell them you fucking love them. Seriously, because they're your family, man. They're the reason why you're here.
Yep. And we ain't promised tomorrow. You ain't even promised fucking tonight. You know what I mean? You're not even promised the next hour. You could walk out of your house and get fucking hit by a car. A
Yeah,
plane could
God
fucking
forbid.
strike your house. You know what I mean? Like literally anything could happen at any moment. You ever see the show A Thousand Ways to Die? You remember that shit?
Yeah, I do
Like,
actually. Yeah, you don't fucking know.
listen, anything could happen at any time. So, you gotta just be grateful and show the appreciation and love while you still can. I agree.
That's it, man. And once you start focusing on the right thing, like I woke up this morning, even before we record this episode, I'm just like, I feel it within, like just an overwhelming urge to show appreciation for the people I love. Even you, bro. Like everything that you've done and all the progression you've made, like it's a blessing to watch. And you know, I wouldn't trade you for any other brother, bro. Seriously. Just
Yeah,
like
I
mommy and
appreciate it, bro.
daddy, like,
Same with you though. It's that's I wouldn't trade anybody or even any experience that we had growing up. Because again, like all the shit that happened, that again, it makes you who you are. Everything, like you can't tell me like everything doesn't happen for a reason. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like I went through all these fucking jails and rehabs and, just fuck up after fuck up after fuck up for years and years. And the one rehab I go to, which I've been to fucking like 12, I mean, maybe not that many, but I've been to a lot. But the one rehab that I go to, Discovery House, which is, right down the road from here, 10 minutes away.
Mhm.
And that specific counselor talks me into like, why don't you move out this way? Why don't you try something different? Try something new. Get away from all the same shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't got nothing to lose. Like, fuck it. Like, let me try something new. And then I move out here, and COVID happens. All the barbershops get closed down. You know what I mean? And mind you, this is before I was working at the shop and everything, but all the barbershops are closed. So you need it, you got to get a haircut, which granted, I was cutting my own hair and whatnot, but one of the guys I live with knew Natalie, calls her, she comes over, cuts some of her hair. Like that's how I meet her. And then, we end up hanging out. One thing leads to another. And then,
Yeah.
we had
Fast forward
Talia.
years later,
And then we
right.
had
You have a
Talia,
daughter.
however, however long after we met, which honestly, we weren't even together long before we had Talia. So, it was probably like just under a year. You know what I mean? So, And then we have her, and then, just like all these things, all these blessings. And again, like even after we had her, I wasn't, I fucked up again. I fucked up again. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, it's not like, oh, that changed my life and everything was great. And no, like it doesn't work like that, because I didn't, I wasn't continuing to put the work in. And I got complacent, and you get, you get content, like, oh, I'm good, and you
That's
stop
what
doing that work on yourself.
me and Pops talk about that all the time. Put the work in
Yeah, I mean,
because no one's going to do
it's
it for you.
true. It's definitely true. Like
And you know
if you
what?
stop giving a fuck, then you don't
No,
find
that's
out.
facts. And you know what? Like, I think, and I told both mommy and daddy this too. Like, it's not a coincidence that they got together, because what actually got you through that process, especially with the addiction, is just your will and the fucking strength that they passed on to us. I think that's genetic as well, to a certain degree. It's a spiritual thing, because most people, I mean, a lot of people we grew up with did not make it. And I still think about that. Like, they are gone. And, part of me definitely gets sad about that. But, and it's not to say like, oh, we're better than them or anything like that. It's
No,
just
of
like,
course.
that could have easily been you. That could have easily been me. Could have
Absolutely.
easily been, Pops. And, it would have just been devastating in every way imaginable. But it's the strength and the will, man, because this life is not, it's not easy. And we all know that. And especially for the people that are watching, I mean, everybody has problems. Everybody battles with different stuff every single day. But, the strength of will, I'm really appreciative towards that, because my spirit just won't quit. And I know I'm going to keep going and keep growing and leveling up continuously, just like you've been doing, man. So, again, mom, pops, we love you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Episode 10, guys, we appreciate you tuning back in. Me and Pops will be back next week. Quinn, we appreciate you filling in, man. This was a real ass conversation. And, if this resonated with you guys, share your favorite childhood memory with us. Put it down in the comments. We would appreciate any feedback. And let us know moving forward what you would want us to talk about, because we got plenty of topics already preset, but it'd be interesting to get some feedback from you guys to really know where your mind is at, and really just start the conversation. I know Pops would agree with me as well. And moving forward, again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Mom, Pops, we love you so much. Quinn, appreciate you, bro.
No problem, dude.
Peace.